In today's story, we can find another reason why marriages fail. Today's story is about a short diatribe about how a loving relationship is ruined by a lack of trust and lies. No sex, no revenge, no reconciliation. This story is about getting caught by your spouse and how relationships die by a lack of trust, loyalty, and respect. Okay, let's go to the story and see what happened in their marriage. My name is Samuel. The best way to describe me is to say that I'm a mild-mannered man that gives my wife everything she wants. It took me 2 marriages. It's funny how people can underestimate the consequences of their actions. But I've now finally learned that being low-key and giving everything to the one you love can lead to contempt and lack of respect. That will never happen again. These spoiled women think they can do things and keep them from their partners as long as they never find out everything is good. They hide their guilt in different ways until they get caught. Then suddenly they're sorry and didn't mean to do it. As they explain that they never wanted their spouse to find out and get hurt. Do they even hear themselves speak? What are we supposed to think when they say they never wanted you to find out? Do they realize they are admitting that they are doing it behind your back and are only sorry that they get caught? What an insult that is. I'm convinced these women can't understand normal thinking, and I had met after coming out of dysfunctional relationships after 3 years with her boyfriend. Billy dumped her for a younger, more attractive girl and left the relationship hurt, and with self-esteem issues due to being dumped by the man she loved. She never got over Billy, and that always bothered me at some level. Here is the story of what happened to my life. I'm 6 years older than I am. I was married for 5 years to a smoking, hot, sexy woman that rocked my world. I was madly in love with her and expected to spend the rest of my life with my ex-wife, Charlotte. However, she took on several lovers behind my back during a time when I was completely under her spell. It took me a year of her cheating to learn of her infidelity, and it hurt me badly. I dumped her and swore I'd never let that happen again. After this, I knew that trust was going to be a problem for me in any new relationships, and I were aware of each other's baggage. I helped Anne overcome her self-esteem issues. She got into the gym and sculpted her body into an amazing figure. She spent her free time shopping for new fashions, hours at the salon and the tennis courts. She turned herself into a confident, beautiful woman with my help and encouragement in return. Knowing my history and worked hard to help me get over my trust issues. She always made me know I was her only love and how lucky she was to find me. Every day she made a point to tell me how much she loved me. We even started talking about a family. We were each other's soulmates. Life was good. At least I thought it was. Fast forward a week after her 6th anniversary. My world turned upside down. I noticed my wife wearing a dress I hadn't seen and looking spectacular, which was odd for a late morning weekday. Now, I was not spying on my wife, but we have video security in our home that I occasionally look at when bored at work. I enjoy watching her dog Brandy, my small dacha, as it became a stress reliever from my high-pressure job as a bond broker. However, when I saw the live feed on the video that morning, I became curious. There was the love of my life in a very short, sexy red dress and very high heels. Her hair was styled and her makeup was amazing. I hadn't seen her look this sexy in years, which caused my stomach to turn and make me anxious. I immediately gave my loving wife a call to see if I could find out what she was up to. I hit her number on the phone. "Hi, baby. Just sitting here thinking of you. How's your day going? Tennis today. Hi, honey. I miss you. Nothing planned today. No tennis today because Cora hurt her ankle, so I took the day off. Oh, that's too bad. I know how much you love to play. What are you going to do, then? Not sure. I have nothing planned. Maybe I'll go to the gym. Would you like to meet for lunch? I can come home and pick you up." "That's so sweet, baby, but not today. I'm a little bloated and not much into eating right now. I'll just have a protein shake at the gym. I'll see you tonight. I love you, baby." I said goodbye without my usual "I love you." I'm sure she caught that because I always say I love you before we end our calls. She was lying to me, and I need to find out why. Of course, some things die hard, and even though I trusted. And after all these years, I still had a GPS tracker on her car, which I seldom used. I had originally placed it there for safety, but sadly, I was now using it to spy on my wife. As soon as I hung up the phone, I left my office and went to my car and turned on her tracker. She was headed downtown, and I started driving in that direction. My office was not far from downtown, and 15 minutes later I had caught up with her as I spotted her pulling into a parking garage. I parked on the street and waited in a doorway for her to exit the garage. 5 minutes later, my beautiful wife, in her high heels and sexy dress, was headed towards Feline's, a high-end restaurant. I stood there with my stomach in knots, praying I was not going to be deceived by another woman when I saw her wave to a man in front of the restaurant. I knew I was in trouble. I moved closer, trying to stay out of sight, and saw him greet her with a kiss. They exchanged some words as he took her hand and walked inside. I quickly made my way across the street and watched through the window as they stood in front of the hostess with their arms around each other's waist. I noticed that and was lovingly leaning into his shoulder. Tears were starting to fill up my eyes until my anger rose. I wiped my eyes, pulled out my phone, and started taking some photos through the window. As I started taking them, I saw him turn down and kiss her with passion. I took some photos just as she was responding by kissing him back. My heart broke as she put her arms around his neck and pulled him in deeper. At this point, I turned the video recorder on and captured the loving kiss. They shared a combination of pain in my heart and rage inside. My head was leading me down a dark path. Before I could decide on what to do, the hostess took them to their table. Update: my blood boiled as I recognized the man, and it was Billy, her ex-boyfriend, the guy that dumped her and destroyed her life. And now she was back in his arms. She knew how I felt about it. And then I made it clear she was never to speak with him again. She obviously didn't agree with my wishes. My anger was taking over, as I realized then, in just the last hour, she has lied to me, dressed sexy to meet with her ex, kissed him passionately, and is spending the afternoon with him. This level of disrespect and humiliation was unacceptable and something I could not live with again. The promise I made to myself after my last marriage prevented me from being patient and accepting this level of disrespect. It was over, and all that was left was to hear more lies and excuses from my soon-to-be ex-wife. Still full of anger, I drove back to the office and finished the day at my desk, trying to understand how this could happen again. After feeling sorry for myself for the next 5 hours, I left for home already knowing my next move. I wondered if man would tell me the truth about her day or continue to deceive me, as that would make my final move easier with a great deal of effort. I was able to suppress my rage and drove home to face the end of my marriage. As I turned into my driveway, I felt myself tear up for the loss of the woman I loved and respected, and was putting a nice dinner on the table, wearing a cute outfit and acting very loving to me when I came into the kitchen. She gave me a big kiss and told me how much she missed me. Typical cheating wife bullshit. I thought the bitch was trying to relieve her guilt and make up for it by showing more love than she had over the last 6 months. As hard as I tried to act normal, it obviously wasn't working. As she looked at me and asked, "Honey, are you okay? Did anything happen?" I poured myself a tall glass of Mr. Daniels, tried to smile and relax, and said, "Everything's good. Just a stressful afternoon. Let me get changed and cleaned up for dinner, and I'll be down shortly in the bedroom." I got changed and sat on the bed, finishing my drink as I let the elixir wash over my body. After settling down, I went down to the kitchen to see my beautiful wife smiling and happy as she placed dinner on the table. She was in a great mood, obviously happy from her day with her boyfriend. As we were sitting there together, I started the conversation. "This is a wonderful dinner, and you dressed so pretty for me today. Thank you. I love you, sweetheart, and I enjoy cooking for you," she said with a satisfied smile. We sat in awkward silence for several minutes while we ate. I noticed Anne glancing over at me, wondering what was troubling me. Was she feeling guilty? Would she tell me the truth about today? We would find out in the next few minutes. "So tell me about your day and what you did for lunch," I said in a non-threatening voice. "Well, after you called, I went to the gym for a few hours, had a protein bar, then came home to cook your dinner." "Kind of a boring day," she offered as her answer. She saw my face and noticed my eyes watering up, and she quickly looked down at her plate. In a low voice, I said, "So and how do we do this? Do we just meet with the attorneys? Or are you going to want to go to counseling first?" "What are you talking about, honey? Divorce?" "Of course," I answered. "Stop being silly. What are you talking about?" "I'm talking about the end of our marriage. Divorce, splitting up, Figuring out how we can do this and remain friends. I don't understand. Why do you want a divorce? Really? I'll give you a few moments to consider your question before I answer. Suddenly she became nervous as her hands were fidgeting with her glass and not looking into my eyes any longer. She was silent for a few minutes. Did you follow me today? No. I lied, knowing it really didn't make a difference. But for some reason I didn't want her to know. Why would you ask me if I followed you? Is there anything I should know? I could tell she was still confused and not sure what to say. As all cheaters do, they deny it. As expected, she said nothing was going on and didn't understand. Why would you ask me about divorce? With a sad look on my face, I stared into her eyes for a long moment, hoping she would open up and tell me the truth. After a long silence, I said, "Well, let me show you what is troubling me." I opened my phone and showed her one photo of her and Billy kissing when they met outside the restaurant. This photo could have been explained by a friendly hello kiss. I didn't want to show her the other photos until I heard more of her lies. Her mouth dropped and I saw some tears start to well up in her eyes. She, of course, came up with the excuses. "Honey, I can explain. That was just a hollow kiss. Nothing happened. How did you get this photo? So how's Billy doing these days, baby? I'll tell you how I got this photo. I was across the street coming out of the software corner when I thought I spotted you walking hand in hand into the restaurant.